we are going to explore at some point the hypothesis that every one of the Toy Story films is in fact a fantasy wish fulfillment, and all the toys represent Andy dealing with traumas of his life, but resolving them in a way that they have a happy ending. Although realistically, for Andy's real life, it is nothing but trauma and violence.
Andy's in a bad way. Considering what happened in the fourth movie, Andy is like having some serious life troubles. So you don't really see him. We don't know what's really going on with him, but I imagine things did not go well for Andy after college.
I was assuming he was going into some sort of methamphetamine-induced coma in an alley after he lost in family court.
Yeah, there was some family court for sure.
Which we're going to get to.
This will all be explicated more clearly. Yeah.
We'll also talk about themes like The Voice, maybe invoke some Charlie Chaplin, talk about Lacan a little bit. At least I'm planning to.
I planned on you talking about Lacan a lot.
I absolutely was planning on you talking about Lacan.
We're going to talk about Jim Jones and cults.
We are going to talk about Jim Jones. We're going to talk about, we'll get to it, but I'm going to start with a couple of Wally Benjamin quotes and then some stuff.
Yes.
From
I thought you were just opening. Cold open was the Benjamin quotes, or no? You can read them now.
Well, it's kind of too late now, isn't it?
I mean, I guess.
I could just insert one of them at the very beginning as the cold open.
Yeah, we could just do the record scratch, and then do the fucking cold opening, and then just put this shit in later. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Read them now.
All right. Well, actually, before I read the quotes,
no, read them now.
You want me to read them now? That was very stern. I was going to ask you, how do you feel about Toy Story, Don? Fuck you. All right, I'm going to read.
I don't want to answer that anyway.
I know.
Don doesn't feel. What do you mean?
So I'm going to read two Walter Benjamin quotes about Disney overall, since we just touched on these in the Jam and Some Mammon Part 5. Here is first an earlier quote by Benjamin about Disney films. This is McCarraher describing Benjamin's position. He says, Benjamin attributed the Disney films the same double meaning he saw in cinema generally. The depiction of figures in a collective dream, enacting both the nightmare of the present and the prospect of a utopian transformation. And then later on, though, Benjamin shifts his position quite heavily and says that, but over time, Benjamin discerned a more repressive agenda, not only in the rodent's comic antics, as in Mickey Mouse, but also in all of Disney's work. Especially through the mouse's misadventures, Disney both encouraged sadistic violence and immunized audiences against mass psychosis. Representing collective longings on screen in such a way as to vent and then neutralize them, Disney triggered, and this is Benjamin, a therapeutic explosion of the unconscious with no revolutionary consequences. To the same end, his portrayal of peace between people and technology fabricated an illusory rapport between human beings and the apparatus.
That is perfectly encompassed.
It is perfect to describe these films.
Shit.
And then last but not least, I want to read a quote from Benjamin Fons. I'm saying his name out, Benjamin. Benjamin Fons' Death and Mastery, Psychoanalytic Drive Theory, and the Subject of Late Capitalism that I just read today. He says, machines might not serve as vehicles of aggressive sublimation, but they become libidinal objects. Through the projection of human qualities onto machines, they appear as autonomous figures endowed with a life of their own. The machine also has something to contribute to the relationship. Bearing the spiritual quality of social production, it returns to its adores the relations alienated from them in the production process, which is going to be one of the main interpretations of the Toy Story franchise I want to offer, which is it is a way to, sort of depict, neutralize, and then return to the viewer their own alienated social relations under capital.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about how the genesis of this episode was
yet
formed?
Again your idea?
It was okay. Yeah, it was. I saw a Toy Story meme. And I don't know why it triggered this memory in me, but I just had an immediate memory of Lotso from the third one. And I was like, Lotso basically had the right idea. Like, he knew that humans were basically exploiting them. And he was basically like, yeah, fuck all those people. And Woody was the one who wanted to return to their original purpose and stuff.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So when I thought of this, for a half a second, I was just like, oh, we need to do an episode where we redeem Lotso in the same way that we redeemed Bane.
Yeah,
in
Chairman Lotso.
Yeah, exactly. And so then I told these two guys, and then, Jesus, what are you looking at? Oh my gosh.
It's just like the cast of Toy Story staring at like a giant dildo. Sorry. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
How did you even get there?
I'm looking for the meme because you said you was talking about a meme, and I remember there was a meme that was basically explaining that the first Toy Story movie was just like a young woman's like experimentation with like sex toys.
Oh, didn't we talk about
like,
this? It was like a feminist
briefly.
reading of Toy
Yeah, it was like
Story?
some kind of like, you know, sex empowerment reading or something where like Woody is just a representation of like dicks and like how that's like the old way of being, and then like Buzz comes into the picture and he's like way better because he obviously represents the vibrator, and like sort of space age, like self like autonomous gratification, which actually fits into the greater narrative of like what we're probably going to talk about with
Actually, that's true. Yeah,
there's all kinds of shit. There's like a literal like Buzz Lightyear vibrating dildo that is for sale. Anyway, moving on. Sorry to interrupt you on this.
It's pure death drive shit right there.
Yeah, I don't remember where we were. I think
talking about the idea.
So I had the idea, and it was maybe about 5% formed in my brain when I told these guys I want to do a Toy Story episode, and they ran away with it. So I don't really have that much I want to talk about, but I feel like these guys have a whole lot more thoughts than I do. So,
as per usual, I think Don is underselling his contributions to the general episode that we're going to record here. I will tell you that I think we watched Toy Story 3, and then we just watched Toy Story 4 today. What are you doing, Alex? We're trying to record, man.
We need to put the computer. Take the computer away from now.
Jesus
Christ,
take it away.
Man. Don't take it away.
We're recording an episode. Come on.
Yeah, all right. I'm listening.
So I think that we started with the idea of so we watched Toy Story 3 and 4. We just watched 4 today, and we are recording this on Thanksgiving. So again, we're initiating the settler colonialist holiday season by wanting to go right at the throat of one of the most beloved franchises. So I think we started with the idea of recuperating Lotso, but I think where we're ending or where we're getting to is really these films are about the death of God and identity and the existential crisis that happens within the managerial regimes of capitalism throughout probably the different eras of the 20th century.
Yeah, exactly. And
Of course.
Basically, Toy Story is a neocolonialist narrative.
Yeah, it absolutely
through and through. Woody is the ultimate conservative, and then eventually neoliberal figure, dethroning the supposed despots all around the neighborhood of other toys, and imposing imperialist values
absolutely
all over the world in service of his god, which is Andy.
And then we're going to talk about the death of God, and then the reinstitution of God in Bonnie, and then the complete evacuating of the universe of the demiurge in Bonnie to just leave nothing but just the sheer abyss underneath Woody and Bo and all the other toys. But I will say, just to Alex's point, so I took some notes as we were watching Toy Story 4, and the first thing that I wrote down is that Woody and Buzz both represent the two primary ideologies of settler colonialist capital. So Woody represents reactionary cowboy narratives and the glorification of family values, and Buzz represents the technological domination of the world and of the universe through the dominance of instrumental reason. And, sort of a weird, like, kind of recuperated cowboy narrative, but just sort of projected out into domination of the entire universe itself. I also somehow wrote down that Woody is Jordan B. Peterson, but I can't remember why I wrote that down.
We just watched the fucking goddamn it,
the
Jordan B. Peterson. You will hear from us.
Rules.
You will hear from us.
Oh yeah, we're coming for
doing
you.
An episode
we're finally coming for
on
you
the 12 new rules. How are we gonna read it? I don't want to read 400 pages of Jordan Peterson.
We're gonna pirate the audiobook and listen to it at 2 times speed.
Okay, but there's a whole nother narrative that I think is also running parallel to. Cause I mean, I like this. I like this sort of like political bent to the Toy Story narrative, because I think that like by the 4th movie we're in like radical feminism that is like co-opting like black militaristic narratives. But anyway, that's to be talked about. But I think there's also the narrative of how everything that happens to Woody is really just like Andy playing out his fantasies in the Toyscape, or as it might be called.
The life world, as you were calling it?
The life world of the toys.
Yeah.
And so...
Expect to hear that word at least 4 more times.
Yeah, there was a lot of...
Toyscape or life world?
I kind of want both.
I guess both.
Yeah,
I was thinking life world, but yeah.
Yeah, I've been saying life world a lot today. I don't know what...
When did you become a Habermasian? That's some Habermas shit. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Listen. I say things... I can't be held responsible for the things I'm that my voice does. That's another theme, the voice, right? So I'm segueing.
That was a
because I
pro
have nothing to say-
podcasting move right
nothing to say
there.
about Habermas. But so all I'm saying is there are explicit in that fourth movie. I can't. We just watched it. That's why I'm like on this kick. But like, there's literally a doll who is trying to steal Woody's voice box out of his back, who is being escorted around by a bunch of ventriloquist dummies. Like, I don't know how much more of a like Lacanian wet dream about the voice that you could possibly ask for. That it's almost like back in 2019, the Pixar cast was like, somebody please write about the voice. Like, we need to answer this question in Lacan. Anyway, all I'm saying is,
Did you see Tom Hanks reading that strip being like, I need more Lacan in this
like,
script, Pixar?
guys, I don't know if this is truly representative of the early Lacan, and that's the one that I really subscribe to. You guys are really much later Lacanians than I am.
Truly radical move. I subscribe to the early Lacan versus the late Lacan.